On the morning of September 14th, 2022, the sleepy town of Alder Creek awoke to news that would ripple through its streets like a sudden chill. Emily Hart, a 29-year-old software engineer known for her sharp wit, quiet generosity, and near-perfect punctuality, had failed to show up for work. Emily wasn't the kind of person to simply vanish. She was the glue in her small circle of friends, the dependable neighbor who watered your plants without being asked, and the coworker who'd never left an email unanswered. So when her car was found neatly parked in her driveway, her still inside, the first thought on everyone's mind was chilling. Something's wrong. The last confirmed sighting of Emily came from a grainy security camera across the street from her home at 8:47 p.m. the night before. She was wearing a navy hoodie, her hair pulled back, and carrying a reusable grocery bag. The footage showed her unlocking her front door, stepping inside, and never coming out again. Her phone was found on her kitchen counter, screen shattered, as if dropped in haste. There were no signs of forced entry, no struggle, no blood. At first, detectives leaned toward a theory of a random abduction. Perhaps someone had been watching her, waiting for the right moment. But Alder Creek was the kind of place where people left their doors unlocked. Random violence didn't happen here, until now. Detectives canvassed the neighborhood, speaking to everyone who knew Emily. Friends described her as careful but trusting, someone who spent most evenings either working from home or gaming online. Her parents, devastated, insisted she had no enemies. Yet, as investigators pulled phone records, they noticed something strange. For the past 2 months, Emily had been receiving late-night calls from an unknown number. Each call lasted less than 2 minutes. Then came another lead. A coworker admitted Emily had been distracted at work, asking odd questions about security audits and encrypted messaging. It wasn't just idle curiosity. Emily was skilled enough to break into systems most people couldn't even find. 3 days into the search, police found a flash drive hidden beneath a loose floorboard in Emily's bedroom. On it were hundreds of files, financial records, internal emails, and confidential documents belonging to Alder Creek, the local software firm where she worked. Detectives now had 2 conflicting pictures of Emily: the kind-hearted neighbor who rescued stray cats, and a whistleblower with evidence of something she clearly didn't trust to keep on company service. The working theory shifted. Emily hadn't been randomly targeted. She'd been silenced. Attention turned to Alder Creek's senior manager, Richard Lawson. He had the most to lose if the documents went public. They revealed a scheme to inflate government contract bids and pocket the surplus. Lawson denied knowing anything about Emily's disappearance, but his alibi for that night was shaky. However, before police could act, Lawson was found dead in his own home, an apparent suicide. Next to him was a note: "It wasn't me. Look closer." For weeks, the case stalled, until a forensic review of Emily's gaming account revealed private messages to a user named Cypherfox. The tone was personal, intimate. Cypherfox wasn't just an online friend. He was a secret boyfriend. And he wasn't some stranger in another state. He was Daniel Cole, the town's beloved high school IT teacher. When questioned, Daniel at first seemed cooperative, but his story cracked under pressure. It emerged that Emily had confided in him about Alder Creek's corruption, asking for help to encrypt her files before going public. But Daniel feared she'd get herself killed. In a desperate attempt to protect her, he confronted her the night she vanished. The argument turned physical. Emily hit her head on the corner of her kitchen counter. Panicked, Daniel believed she was dead. Instead of calling for help, he hid her body in a disused storm drain outside town. Emily's remains were recovered 37 days after she disappeared. The autopsy revealed she might have survived the initial blow if treated in time, a fact that haunts her family to this day. Daniel Cole was arrested and charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. The trial split Alder Creek in two: those who saw Daniel as a man who made a tragic mistake, and those who saw him as a coward who robbed Emily of her life and her voice. In the end, the truth wasn't the clean, sharp kind found in detective novels. It was messy, tangled in misguided love, corporate greed, and the quiet choices that lead to irreversible consequences. Emily Hart is now remembered every year at a candlelight vigil in Alder Creek's town square. Her whistleblower files were handed to federal investigators, resulting in the shutdown of Alder Creek's government contracts. But for those who knew her best, the true loss wasn't just in the work she might have done or the secret she uncovered. It was in the everyday kindness, the quick laugh, and the quiet brilliance of a woman who deserved far more than the ending she got.